demand range. That's kind of where I would expect a reaction. And from there, kind of take it as you go. All right, it looks like we are all set. So let's go ahead and shift gears. Okay, so good morning. Welcome to Engineering the Markets. It is September 28th, 2021. My name is Jared. Let's go over a few things from yesterday. We started off with our SPX expected move on the week. I've gone ahead and drawn those key levels based on the weekly close of the SPX, along with the expected move of the October 1st series. We're looking at approximately a 71-point expected move on the week. And what's notable is that the market is pulling back down this morning, and we're coming into this lower edge of the expected move. It's also worth mentioning that during this drawdown, we have some more expansion of volatility inside of the overall SPY. So if you recall this October 1st series, as the week goes forward, if the market either stays within this range, volatility remains stagnant, or simply time progresses, all of these events likely will lead to volatility contraction. It simply means that we have less time for that expected move to be achieved, and therefore the range starts to compress, as yet simply have less days for that movement to be achieved overall. Now, it's worth looking at this expected move and seeing that we've already passed a single day of trading. The market wasn't necessarily volatile in either direction. We saw a bit of chop yesterday on the SPY. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But the expected move remains at the 71 print. And that is in large part due to the fact that we have additional volatility rise this morning. So we could start off just by looking at our VIX. We want to note that the VIX is once again elevated. We're clearing that 20 print, which often seems to signal a bit of back and forth action within the market, like basically non-directional type plays. Bulls and bears basically fighting at key support and resistance. And since we have lost our trend on the SPY, we're looking to see whether or not bulls can reclaim it, or are we going to see that lower high scenario either facilitating range contraction or a daily downtrend in the overall markets. So volatility has expanded this morning. We want to be aware of that as we enter today, as that heightened volatility can lead to larger overall days inside of our index products. And to reiterate some of the key items from yesterday, along with how those played out into the first session on the week, we want to take a look at bonds. Now, if you recall from yesterday and a little bit from last week, after our FOMC meeting on Wednesday, the bond market has been seeing a lot of downside activity. We basically had sort of a false breakout look. We retested a previous swing high. This acted as some notable topside supply and resistance. We broke through this 150 area, sort of a pivot zone in the TLT in regards to some of the choppier or just range-bound trading we've been seeing. And now the TLT is testing its lower end of the range. We bring it back down to lower time frames, we can actually see this is the first time we've actually cleared this major low, as the TLT had been trending prior, set our relative high, had a larger pullback, and then the first, I would say, lower high and lower low, basically setting up this range. So the bond market sell-off that's been occurring over the past few days has facilitated interest rates rising over those past 2 days in an inverse fashion. Most people looking at the 10-year will note that we've also cleared, at least in the short term, the 1.5 print. We've actually tagged it this morning and we're hovering slightly below it. So I guess not cleared, but let's say today's tested. We've also started to breach this previous swing low, as this was another notable upside range or topside range inside of interest rates. What we were looking at yesterday in regards to that, what sort of trade to take advantage of, the idea was twofold. You either wanted to be looking at weakness inside of tech, and we did see some of that in the morning sessions. I would say that all of our key tech names, Apple, if we look at yesterday's session, saw a lot of downside volatility that of course recovered throughout most of the following portion of the session. And now we're looking at another gap down on Apple. The bond market still continues to sell, and the bounce that we saw yesterday might have been a bit of an oversold correction. Now that bonds are starting to breach the low end, expect some continued weakness in tech, at least in the short term, until that picture starts to resolve. Same idea with Microsoft. We're seeing another downside gap in these key tech names. And this, of course, is facilitating some weakness in the NASDAQ. So when we're looking at specifics here, these stocks are the ones that often get sold during interest rates rising. It's basically that counter type trade in regards to the discount rate that is provided by bonds and by interest rates. Essentially, the valuations need to be adjusted in regards to what is typically seen as a more risk-off or just risk-free type position inside of bonds or notes. Now, the opposite side of that is there are some sectors that do benefit. We talked specifically about financials. Financials have seen multiple days to the upside over the past couple of sessions. This is, of course, counter to some of the weakness in the SPY. We're seeing weakness in tech, and financials are starting to pick up some of that slack. We're also seeing energy. Energy has been sort of a key trade these past couple of days, and more notably, we have continuation in both natural gas, which of course is making a new high and coming into a swing high that was placed back in, I want to say, early 2014, I believe. Yes, early 2014. So natural gas is accelerating its uptrend, and that can be seen with the fact that we have these relative lows, which is acted as, wrong tool. You can simply draw something like this. You can also add moving averages. I'm leaving those off for now just to clear up these charts. But you can see that natural gas has basically accelerated its trend. The extension that we got and the most recent pullback has led into a new swing high. And this, of course, is facilitating a test of that upper resistance. We also want to just give kudos to crude oil. Crude oil made a very significant top back in, let's see, July, early July. Ever since, crude oil had been basically consolidating, starting to sell off sharper and sharper as we were looking for additional demand to enter this market. One of those confirmations was the fact that we came back to a notable area of interest. We were looking at this sort of low to be set. We had a false breakdown here, and then we cleared this sort of downtrending retracement resistance. The idea that the demand was starting to finally overcome the supply imbalance that was starting to form here. Now, I bring this chart up more specifically because we are coming in to test this relative high. Normally, in a more technical sense, the first test of such a major high is not going to be successful. It often will facilitate sort of a false look or a false breakout simply because this move is extended. And in the case of crude oil, that certainly does appear to be the case. When we get that false look, we'll often see a drawdown back into this range. And usually what I'm looking for is that continued demand to be met at a higher price level, basically a previous high that has turned into support. Something like this more relative high back in the end of July could be an example. Those often will form some of our technical patterns that we like to refer to, things like cup and handles, or basically just rising demand in regards to a strong bull flag near resistance. So as we're looking at the markets today, we have conditions in regards to rising interest rates to facilitate financials and energy leading the pack. And that has been the case so far, along with the underlying asset actually providing some bullishness. But what we're seeing in the SPY is that mixed bag. We ultimately have tech drawing down, and more notably, the NASDAQ starting to pull away from resistance along with the SPY overall. If we pull up just a shorter time frame, you can see the type of drawdown we're getting here. And this is, of course, after our corrective move from last Monday's low. The idea is that if bulls want to recapture this market, they have to break this area of resistance. They essentially have to negate the idea of either a daily higher low, a daily low or high, and also the fact that we're trying to reclaim trend. The bulls have not done that yet, so we are still technically at risk of more downside against this larger drawdown. Obviously, the most bearish scenario here is that we eventually lose Monday's low. And that would, of course, open the door for our main trend line in the NASDAQ, which is most evident inside of something like a weekly chart. If you're looking for strength inside of the NASDAQ, it may be beneficial with bonds rising, interest rates rising, bonds falling, to start looking elsewhere for relative strength in the market. Of course, this can be sort of changed on a moment's notice, and we're certainly looking for this area to resolve in order to make that call. But here is some of our downside risk, at least in the short term. The NASDAQ has very clear trend line support much further down. And that, of course, would be facilitated by Apple and Microsoft, also with clear support much lower. Apple approximately 135, coinciding with this relative high. And then Microsoft, one of our more bullish tech names as we've accelerated this trend. But as we just coincide these levels, we can see that as things start to degrade, we still have a risk on selling pressure. So just some things to keep in mind. The market is comprised of all these different sectors that we have to be noting as which ones are strong and which ones are weak. But when it comes to weighting, the tech sector is one of our key, basically, sectors for the SPY. And if the tech sector is underperforming, we need that market cap to be realized in other areas. It can either be done through a combination of financials, energy, and industrials, often referred to as the cyclicals, or it can be done in regards to a similar market cap weighting, something like healthcare. If you've looked at healthcare recently, healthcare has also not seen support form yet. We're seeing additional downside. And this is notable because this was one of our leaders. We bring up our moving averages. We've already gotten sort of the worst case scenario for bulls, the idea that this daily uptrend has started to turn into a daily downtrend. with clear resistance forming on the correction bounce. So these are all scenarios that are forming in different ways in different sector ETFs, but as a composite, the SPY is still looking for that final confirmation of this downtrend. And as we open up just our 5-minute, we can see, or just a shorter time frame, I should say, same as the NASDAQ. We had this pennant structure down here form bullish, led to a corrective wave to the upside, but we're seeing weakness come back into the market where it's expected, back at this key level, this reclaiming of bullishness and this downtrending resistance that has formed. So all things to keep in mind as we enter today's market. And just another picture of sort of that back test look. Just take these off. This is just the ES futures. It just shows what a back test could look like. This is a very clear one in regards to where it stopped and the price movement this morning. So all this picture composed inside of our technicals leads us into trying to assess where to focus today. I would say that if bonds are going to sell harder today, if they're going to continue to put pressure on technology, it may not be advisable to look for a bottom in the NASDAQ unless you have some very clear counter signals to that trade. The NASDAQ simply may start to sell and really never look back. Yesterday was a bit of an anomaly, but that was, in my opinion, partly due because the bonds had at least a slightly bullish day. But if we see this resolve to the downside, if we see more basically pressure inside of interest rates rising, I would not be looking for the NASDAQ to be our leader today. It simply doesn't match our correlation in regards to what's occurring in the bond market. Additionally, if interest rates are rising quickly, I would also be wary of some of these key cyclical trades that have already played out quite well. Things like financials are nearing previous highs. It simply is more of a technical structure here to be cautious of resistance. Basically, we've seen low to high already resolve, and that can simply lead to consolidative price action versus what has been the case so far, which is more bullish price action. The market can form a bull flag structure, and if interest rates rise and financials continue to be a leader, then we should see this sort of break bullish in the near term. Maybe some keys there. So we bring back our moving averages. Go ahead and take this off as that's no longer relevant. As we start to re-enter this zone, basically start to look for those bullish setups to form, and that would be more of a swing trade idea, of course, with bonds continuing to fall. Additionally, one thing that is holding back some of the, I would say, more direct cyclical trades, more specifically materials and industrials, along with some of the new cycle events that we have with the infrastructure bill possibly being altered or delayed due to the debt ceiling readjustment. But on a more, I would say, practical level, what's occurring right now in the dollar still has me a bit cautious of any of those direct commodity-based trades. Energy has certainly bucked the trend, but the dollar continues to be in a more bullish stance. Essentially, we have not drawn down on the dollar as we've been testing this relative high. We've also seen sharp corrections from here, but that has not signaled yet. There hasn't really been a day or two of that sort of false breakout look. And every time we get into the zone, we need to be wary of the fact that the dollar has some upside in regards to a larger breakout. One way to look at this more from the volume perspective would be something like UUP. This is simply an ETF that tracks the dollar index. And if there is sort of an uptick in volume on a breakout, that might be something more notable, as market participants may want exposure to the dollar in regards to a trade, or at the very least, some sort of core position if we do see strength in the dollar. That'll, of course, not be a great sign for commodities, albeit the weakness in bonds has provided some short-term strength. Basically, we're fighting one scenario versus another: strong dollar and strong interest rates. Okay, so these are all things we can carry into today's trade. It's worth mentioning that we do have some leadership, both in, as we talked about, financials, but also consumer discretionaries. It's printed a new all-time high. And if we zoom in slightly, we can see that we actually, I believe we closed at a new all-time high as well. 185.89. Yes, we barely closed at a new all-time high. So yesterday there was strength, and I'll go ahead and pull up this sort of heat map to show that strength. Our financials and energy definitely standing out, but if you'll notice some additional green isolation inside of consumer discretionaries. It's worth mentioning, however, that this is not a full sector sort of buy event. There was some weakness in our largest name, that's of course Amazon, but a large part of that weakness was covered by additional strength in Tesla. So just for reference, if we go to our fundamentals, we just want to kind of have an idea. Sorry, this is not loading. It's actually not loading the weightings here. That's odd. Okay, data is not loading as it should, but this setup right here would have shown the weighting of Amazon and Tesla. They're relatively large weightings, of course. Home Depot and McDonald's falling after, but much smaller overall. Anyway, with Tesla, just worth mentioning that we have broken a major level of resistance. The breach of this $780 level was notable yesterday, and we actually saw some follow through close to $800 a share. What I see in regards to some risk for Tesla's downside, let me remove these moving averages. It's skewing the price chart. So we've obviously cleared this retracement resistance. We'll go ahead and remove this for now. We've been trending from this double bottom low. It's a very significant low that was made during the crash. We retested that low after a major high was set. Keep in mind that every time we have these large crashes, I often refer to as the first high that's made, the most notable high, that is the spot to beat. Everything else in between is often range-bound trading, and you're simply either looking for a lower time frame trend to form, in this case a daily trend did form, or you're looking to sell high near that resistance, basically to top fish it, and then if you ever do get support tests near this low, you're looking to buy this low. And these are often trade ideas. It works very well in range-bound markets, but it also works across multiple asset classes after a major correction. It basically establishes where the largest amount of demand should be resting in the stock, and essentially using that area as risk management for the stock moving forward. Now, what's interesting about this is Tesla essentially has been grinding higher and has started to breach this area for the first time. What we're not seeing currently is any fight in regards to the bears. There hasn't really been a struggle up here. And so far on the weekly, as long as we hold in this elevated position, then we can call this breakout sort of confirmed. Obviously, I would like to see better volume from the bulls on such a major level. What's odd about this is the lack of resistance, and ultimately, if we close poor on the week, facilitated by the larger market, this can offer sort of a trap. The potential for the downside here being that if Tesla does fail this breakout, we can look to our daily to kind of anticipate where some of the downside might fall. Short term, I would certainly say just a pullback to this trend. That would simply just be another sort of trend correction or just a nice pullback to lead us higher. That'd be the most bullish scenario. Our main trend, which has been established since this double bottom, you can see these pullbacks often come to this area. And while it's not perfect, a slight realignment there kind of shows some of that downside. That's approximately the $700 per share. And then, of course, if we do get any sort of bearishness in the overall market, our main range low is going to be the spot to beat. In between all this, of course, there are some smaller support zones, but it's just something to observe. The market often will provide these test cases in the way of coming to this area and testing whether demand is still facilitative of upside, basically to confirm that support. What hasn't happened so far is a confirmation of this resistance. It's been set here. This was our topside range. You could see how clear this low was, and it has been established from the downside here. But what we're not seeing is a reaction. So it's an odd setup. It can certainly indicate that the market wants to move higher. There isn't a lot of resistance here, but it's odd to see from a technical level. Often you will see at least one reaction against it, setting up the cup and handle, or just setting up, that false breakout look into finding support at your trend and then breaking out. That's just not how things often work. So worth calling out, worth mentioning, as we do have consumer discretionaries leading. And as I kind of wrap up things today, just want to note that on the SPY, remember that our scenario right now is that we've had a full 61.8% pullback from low to high. We've come all the way back to where bears should be defending. This is very notable and ultimately coincides quite well with this extension. What we're looking for now is the exact opposite. We simply want to say, well, since they've gone this far, can the bulls tighten this range up any further and do the exact same thing on the downside? That would bring us to about 435. So that gives us some downside targets, as the bulls have not proven a breakout yet. But it also shows that we can still tighten up this range, simply going back and forth with high volatility until a resolved direction is chosen. Essentially keeping an open mind to the bullish case, as we have had a significant retracement, but the resistance is notable and appropriate given the bounce follow through. So with that said, I'm Jared. This is Engineering the Market. Stay tuned for more following tomorrow, and we'll talk more about how to take advantage of this, going back to our discussion of options and in-out spreads. So trade safe and see y'all then.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Morning, man. I'm doing well. Just busy morning. How are you?
Doing good. Yes, and a busy morning for sure it is. Guys, let's give a thumbs up for Jared for engineering the markets every
Yeah,
single
absolutely.
Monday through Thursday. We don't do it Fridays, but Monday to Thursday, he's coming in very early here, 8 a.m. Eastern time, and giving us an overall picture of the market. So appreciate that very much. Guys, let's take a look at what we had yesterday, starting with Be Big on the list. Again, not a big fan of this one. Let's go to yesterday's action. And here might be the reason why. Beautiful pre-market activity in the morning. You saw how great this thing was trading at the market open. Just doesn't give you a whole lot. There was a nice rising devil on this. I found that very difficult to trade, but you can see here the nice rejection of this level we had in the pre-market, and just a beautiful drop there below the VWAP and a nice continuation.
Do you
Outside
ever
of that,
get tired of seeing a ticker on the gappers list every single day?
yeah, this is one of them.
That's me
This
right
is one of
now
them.
with this
Yeah,
ticker.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
again, I know a lot of you guys
It's
have
not
traded it
that
very
great,
well,
and it's just kind of
but yeah, it's exactly what it is. So again, not a fan of this one. Here is Oxy, guys. Oxy was incredible, huge, and we kind of expected Oxy was going to be active yesterday. Had a nice breakout right out of the gates here, breaking out of this 2916 level, and never really looked back. Now after that, guys, complete trash after that. Just very choppy. The volume died down on it. It did give you a move later down the line around 11, another move towards the high of the day. But for the most part, the big move here was on this breakout of the pre-market high, which is a great strategy if you're looking out for that. It's a lot of moves that happen off that level. So it's a nice level. These pre-market highs and lows are very important. You can see the breakout here just taking off nicely. Next, we have CCL. Now, CCL was incredible, guys. Beautiful breakout here. So a whole lot going on there. On the 5 minute, you had a beautiful open range break up on the 5. If you look at the 1 minute, there's other opportunities as well. So maybe CD patterns in there, but beautiful breakout here. Nice continuation. This thing went all the way from 26 to 27.40, which is a big move for CCL, right? CCL doesn't move like that. So nice move there. And then after that, kind of just died down a little bit with the volume, but for the most part, you had an incredible move. And a lot of us in the community caught this move, except me, because I was watching LSID, which was horrible. We won't even look at that thing. It's just so bad. RCAD, no good there. Tesla was active, guys, but it took a bit. Again, choppy all the first hour or so, just not doing anything. And then later in the day, you get this beautiful breakout towards the high of the day. You get a little bit of a bull flag building there on the 1 minute, and then just takes off nicely. So Tesla in play, and we knew it was going to be active yesterday. Had great volume. Apple extremely weak out of the gates. Did drop quite a bit here. Did find a base and did a V reversal back up towards the high, almost the highest of the days. Not quite, but at least the market open. Very difficult to trade this strategy. I mean, you got the timing and everything has to be perfect. It's not an easy strategy to trade this V reversals to VWAP and then some. So that's what we had on our list yesterday. This morning we have let's go right over here. Yeah, here we go. This morning we have quite a bit on both sides of the field, gapping up and down. Some of these tickers I have not seen, so I'm not sure how good they're going to be. We'll dive into them. A couple of low floats here and there, but for the most part, we have a very full play on our list this morning. Norm, let's go over to the market pulse. What's the latest and greatest?
Yeah, man. So we've got the same oil price kind of news that we were talking about yesterday. That's impacting 90% of our gap up. That is SSL, BTU, RRC, COG, BP, PBF, VQT, Oxy. So uh,
Did you miss any?
well, the only thing I think, just looking quickly, Zebo and Alpha are the only two that aren't. So 8:30, we had trading goods come out. Case-Shiller home price index at 10 a.m. Consumer confidence, along with Jay Powell on the Hill giving testimony. And then we've got a couple of Fed speakers, and there's actually one even this evening that's not on there because it's not during market hours anyway. So, yeah, DBGI, excuse me, is ripping higher. They just had guidance come out. That is not going to be on our list because of the price. It's under $5, although it might not remain that much longer. So yeah, that is popping. And then of course, interest rates popping up this morning are hitting shares of tech stocks and the Qs specifically pretty hard with a 1.6 gap down over there, about half that on the SPY. So one thing to note, we do have MU coming out this evening, earnings, I believe. So that might play into how semis and stuff start trading after this. To keep an eye on that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's remove our list from yesterday and let's see what's on the gappers list. Starting with the two low floats on here, Zebo, which we had this on our list in the past, and it's not a easy trading stock. I think it was actually pretty wild if I remember correctly. Hold on, let's make sure both of these are linked up accordingly.
I prefer Bevo, but
what was that? Oh, yeah,
I prefer Bevo.
Yeah. This was probably a couple of days ago. Again, had a great pre-market action, and then at the market open, just didn't do a whole lot. Their daily's a little bit all over the place here, so I'm not expecting anything great out of this one, especially with the way this daily is looking at the moment. They do have some good volume, guys, 2.3, and they're up 23%. But again, I just don't know how great this is going to trade. So in the past, the history has not been fun. We'll put it on here because they do have volume. I'm not expecting a whole lot on them. Here's ALF this morning. ALF is up 12%, 2.3 million. Now I know we had this on our gappers list before. I never traded it. I don't think I even kept it on my watch list, or if I did, I never looked at it. I don't know how their pre-market action, their action is at the market open.
They traded some of those days. They traded okay.
Okay,
and it's a great sitcom too. So
yes,
they did have some business news. This is actually business I used to be in, programmatic digital out of home platform. So they have some business news that they're trading on. It's just not garbage.
Gotcha. We'll put it on here, guys. They got volume today. They're up 11.3. Let's see where this ends up today. All right, so Norm, you kind of gave us an update on all of these. SSL, I'm not sure if BT was part of it.
Yep.
But I'm just going to quickly is there anything good here besides Oxy? Is Oxy part of this? Yeah, Oxy.
Yep.
I know Oxy can
SSL,
trade very well.
BTU, RRC, COG, EQT, AR. PBF, Oxy, MRO, BP, yeah, all of them.
Yeah, these are all of them. And again, this is why these tickers look so weird to me, because they're not recognizable at all. Oxy, guys, is probably the best one on here. If you want to dive in a little deeper, maybe BP could be. Let's see, how did BP do yesterday?
You guys are calling out XOM. It's not on the gappers list. That's why I didn't mention
that's
XOM.
One of them too.
Yes,
but
it's an oil company.
Yeah, it's not on here. Even BP yesterday, again, Oxy, guys, is probably the only one that I would spend my time on these type of companies. It's the only one that trades better. They seem to have usually better volume, better pre-market, better active price action. So that's the one I'm going with. Looking at volume, EQT does have more volume. Let's see how that looks this morning. But yeah, it's just horrible pre-market action. So that's all I have as far as our gapping up list, right? I don't see anything else great in there. You guys call something out if you see something good, but Oxy is the only one I'm keeping off that whole bunch. Let's see what's gapping down today. Go ahead, Norm. You have something?
One that was called out, and I have to apologize, who's called out 2 days in a row, FANG, F-A-N-G, Diamondback. That's another oil company, not on the gappers, usually doesn't trade pre-market volume for squat, traded pretty well yesterday.
Yeah,
so FANG or I think it was Courtney. You're right, Lori. Thank you. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. It had a super strong day yesterday. You can see just that solid white bar from beginning of the day to the end. So keep an eye on that, even though it's not fitting pre-market criteria. If you're going to trade an oil stock, that might be one to pick.
Yep. We'll take a close look at that. Again, nice daily here. The last couple of days been very, very strong. So worth watching. Let's go to ALT this morning. What's gapping down today? Down 19%. So leading the way here. 444,000 shares trade. I do like this drop here, guys. I do not like the volume I'm seeing on the daily. For the most part, doesn't get a whole lot of volume. 2.5 seems to be the max volume that we've seen all the way back into at least August, maybe July, June. We saw something about 18,000 here and a huge gap down. We do have a big gap down today, so maybe today they can be a little bit active. Pre-market doesn't look too bad right now. It could be better. The float on this 33 million. This is more of a possible right now, but I do like to drop it, and we'll see how the pre-market continues there. KL this morning.
I want to throw out, this is a biotech. They released some phase 1 data this morning that seems to be positive. That's why I shy away from trading biotechs a lot of times, because because this is this funky thing that like the email Andrew sent out yesterday, I've known people that this is their niche. They came from this business. They trade biotech stocks. They're great moving stocks. They can move a lot. They can really be in play, but you can get some weird bias because you read about, something that they released and it was good data and they're down 20%. So
right.
I don't know why. I'm sure it's buried in there somewhere. There's a reason for it, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so weird stuff with these stocks, that's for sure. So again, we'll be careful with this one. I have it as a possible, guys, and especially with that information. Doesn't make any sense that we're down 20% on good news. So something's up. AEHR, no good, guys. Again, just no pre-market action, 189,000, but there's nothing trading well here. Had a big day a couple of days ago here with 65 million shares traded. Second day didn't do a whole lot, and today right now it's not looking all that great neither. Let's go, and also lower flow stock at 21 million. So we need a whole lot of volume in the pre-market. We need better action than that. Here's Sava this morning. They're looking pretty decent. Down 4% right now. 153,000 shares traded. They've been pretty strong the last couple of days. As low as 40. Now hanging around at 65, guys. So again, just look at the move they made in the last 2 weeks or so. This morning's pre-market action is looking decent. I think this is worth taking a look at. I do like what I'm seeing here. So let's put this right on there. Sava, great pre-market action right now. Down 4.7. So we'll see if we're hitting this area of resistance around 70. Maybe having a hard time getting above that. BNTX this morning, we've seen this in our list before. Trade's horrible. Today they're down 4.6. They've been losing some serious ground here. Lost this great level of support right on there, 330. So yesterday, so maybe that could be interesting for a continuation here, but this is a very difficult stock to trade, guys. So be very careful. Again, I think the volume is very thin for $230 and $300 stock.
I'm 99% sure this is trading on this. This is the partner that does the Pfizer COVID vaccine, BioNTech, and Pfizer trades terribly. This one trades even worse. If you want to pick something on this catalyst, a lot of times I would go with the Pfizer, but at least for the time being, while they're trading on that stuff, neither one I would really keep on my list.
Yeah, I agree. And again, today for some reason BNTX does look a little bit better just because it's dropped. But again, it's just a weird trading stock. I don't trust it. mRNA is down at 3.8. Now this is probably one of the better ones. I mean, and it's still not great. But this has seen some really good days. They're down 3.8 today, 200. If I'm going to watch any of these, I think probably mRNA would be the one. Again, losing an area of support here, so we'll put that on there.
And that having been said, be careful with it because it moves like crazy.
Yes, it does. It is a very, very wild stock, guys. Got to be careful with the number of shares you take on this one. BBig, we looked at earlier. Right now, again, 700,000 shares. Not a whole lot going on.
BBig was on the gap up a little while ago.
Was it on there? Did it? Yep. Okay. So, it's now down. I mean,
throw it away.
Yeah. I'm not looking at this, man. It's just not looking at it.
I swear it was on the gap up, wasn't it? It was like one of our few gap up stocks, I thought.
No. I was talking about it, but no, I don't think it was in our gap up list this morning. I was talking about it
yesterday.
From yesterday. Yeah.
It just goes back and forth every day.
Yeah, exactly. Embrun here, guys, down 3.8. This stock, I don't know. It used to be fun. It hasn't been trading all that well, so I don't like the way it's been moving lately. S, no good here. We got a 3.4 drop on S. What company is this? Sentinel One. No good. All right, I'm gonna stop here, guys. We have a whole bunch of tickers here. Some names that we know. AMC, PLTR is on here. AMC actually does look interesting here. On this drop, I'm gonna put AMC. I'm sure one of you guys was probably gonna throw that out, and I do see that on their icon, throwing out AMC. But I'll add it on here. That looks interesting on the daily for sure. Norm, anything you like so far this morning?
I already called out my DBGI. So
Oh, yes. Did I add that one? I forgot to add it. Yeah, we did talk about that.
low float.
Low float. DBGI. Yes.
I think
Very active,
I think
guys.
it's 6 million if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Very active, up 53% right now, and it really cranking this morning. So definitely in play. Alpha is good. Zebo, I don't like Zebo. I don't like this here, the way this is setting up, and it's just gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna stick with Alpha and DBGI this morning. All right, let's take it to the room, guys. See what we have going on here. We'll start with AJ420. You're giving us a few there. I'm just going to take probably NVIDIA. Let's see what's going on there. NVIDIA, and I'll take Baba. Let's take a look at NVIDIA this morning. They're down 2.8. That's interesting. We'll add NVIDIA on here. Down 2.8 this morning. So there goes.
Semis are getting hammered this morning. You can pick any of those probably.
And I was going to look at Apple
MU.
next, right? Well, it's not really a semi, but it's kind of like a tech
It's not a
company,
semi,
right?
but semis and tech are getting hammered this morning.
Yeah.
So.
It's moving quite a bit, guys. Down 1.7, 1.4 million. I do like that action on Apple. I'm actually going to put Apple on top of my main list here. AMD also's got not great volume. Apple, I like it a little bit better. I like NVIDIA also a little bit better as well with this drop you're getting there. So we'll stick with those two for now. All right, continuing here, DBGI we do have, guys. Let's take a look at Baba. We know we've seen some really good days out of Baba. They are gapping up this morning, 1.3 on the daily here. Had a good day yesterday. It gapped down yesterday a little bit, and now it's popping up. So that's interesting. Great volume, though. I like to see what Baba's going to do today. 1 million shares traded on Baba, so I'm going to add that on there. Heading down, CCL was incredible yesterday at the market open. This morning, I don't think they're doing a whole lot, but they had the same type of pre-market activity yesterday. We'll just have to wait for the market open to see how this thing is going to actually trade when the volume comes in. Possible, maybe. We'll keep that on there. Yeah.
CNBC. It looks like CNBC's been hacked. I wonder if it's all of Comcast, NBC, Universal. Yeah, it was down for a second, and then I got in, but the headlines are the top ones are articles from a year and a half ago.
Man, that sucks. Someone's getting fired. Bank of America here, guys, they're pretty much flat right now. Their daily's been pretty good here. Yesterday they had a nice little pop there. Take a look at it yesterday, and it all happened right at the market open, right at the market open, pop, and then from there it's pretty much flat. So again, I'm not sure about intraday trading. I think we'll find some better stocks this morning, hopefully. BA, let's take a look at BA. Today, BA, not a whole lot going on right now. Pretty quiet. Their volume is not bad, though. 90,000 for this type of stock is pretty decent. I just don't think they're really in play today. BP, I'm not going to look at BP. The only stock I'm going to look at for all these oil companies is Oxy. Oxy's the one that I'm going to stick with. Ford.
Be careful with those foreign oil companies. They trade like garbage a lot of times.
They really do. And the volume is so thin, guys. Even with news, you're not going to get crazy volume or good pre-market intraday action on it. So be very careful. Ford, yeah, it's got great volume, 4 million shares. They're up 3.2. Again, I don't like the way this stock trades. It sometimes doesn't move.
They did have some EV news that they put out last night, but that having been said, sometimes it's got to take a hell of a catalyst to move that one.
Yeah, it sure does. Their daily has been great for if you're looking for a swing here of support. It's a great swing trading stock, right? If you're looking for support here and you took that trade, excellent. But for intraday trading, I think we can find something that can move a little bit more, right? I don't want to be stuck in a trade an entire day to get 50 cents or 30 cents or whatever this thing will give you. And that's on the high end, if it even gives you that. UNG, we've seen this stock plenty of times before. I think the United Health, is it United Health? There's some United, yeah. This doesn't trade well. This is for
ETF or something for ATM.
Yeah, for intraday trades, I don't look at this, so just stay away from this one. Archon,
for what we do, there are people that trade this that make money on it. It's not what we do.
Exactly, yeah. You might see Brian swing trade this here and there, but for the most part, I don't think I ever seen him day trade this or something. Archon, no. This is, guys, look at this action here in the pre-market. This is not something you want to be part of unless you know something's going to be happening at the
block
open.
Trade primarily. You've got one big block, and you've got at least, all that may or may not be a block trade. I didn't see it go through, but that's a huge chunk of the volume. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it would look completely uninteresting.
Yeah, this is no good whatsoever. Even the daily is wacky, guys. Again, you just don't want to be part of this at all. So careful with that one. All right, guys, we will stop here. Let's take a look at CEI. Last one from here,
No.
CEI. No,
People
no
keep
good,
bringing
guys.
this up, and this is
Yeah,
this,
well,
I know
why?
Brian's swinging this thing, and some people are swinging this. But as for we don't focus on swing trades in this show, so that's not something we're gonna end up discussing here. If you want to swing trade it, you might have something, but intraday, I don't see a whole lot going on that would be
I don't see
interesting to
nothing
me.
going on. And if you are interested in swing trading, Brian usually comes on around 3:30 or so to talk about swing trades and what he has going on. Also catch his videos on YouTube on every Sunday evening, I believe, and also Wednesdays. He'll send out a video talking about his swing trades and sign up for his alerts as well, right? So you can talk to him about that. But in the morning, we're focused, like Norm said, on the day trading stuff. Let's take a look over on YouTube, guys. What do we have here? SNOA. I see a couple of you guys throwing that out there. I know this ticker because we've seen it before on our list plenty of times. Right now, 9.9 million shares traded. Again, I don't like this right now. Just the pop and pretty much going flat. So that's not interesting to me. We want to see some good activity. You see DBGI. This is great for what you're seeing there. I think even ALF had a more decent pre-market action. Yeah, you have a pop, you have a drop, and hopefully you can get another pop here. But if you start looking at SNOA, it's just, this is not interesting. With 9 million, this is what you're doing. Come on, you could do better than that. So yeah, not interested in that right now. Not saying that it cannot be great and take off, but we've seen this before. It's just not a great trading stock. Spx this morning, here we go. No volume, not really in play. Netflix, we'll take a look at that. No volume, not really in play. MU might be in play a little bit later. I'll add as a possible. When is their earnings? Is it after hours or pre-market?
Yes, after hours.
After hours, okay. Usually after the earnings is when we have the fun, right? So tomorrow we will be looking to see what's going on here, or today at the close we'll be finding out what's going on with MU. But right now it's not really in play at all, guys. This morning. All right, let's stop here. Let's go over to our community event and announcements. We'll come back and chop up this list here, guys.
All right, guys. Tonight, 8 p.m. Tonight, 8 p.m., you've got Kyle doing advanced hotkeys. That's actually part 2, so that's a typo on that. That's 8 p.m. this evening. All right, and then mindfulness during trading, module 4. Mike's doing that tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And just hang on, sorry. Had a slight emergency come up. And then so don't forget, speaking of psychology, mindfulness, and all that, next week, Monday and Thursdays, we're going to be bringing Kreda in to replace Dr. Katz in this show. All right, and all our super chat and super sticker revenue is going to be donated, matched dollar for dollar by Andrew, and donated to Cure Childhood Cancer. That is coming to a close in the next few days. So if you want to donate to that cause, you have until tomorrow, Thursday. Sorry. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon in the closing bell showing on Twitter. And all those trades of the day will be eligible for trade of the week, which will be announced on Monday after being voted on by the team over the weekend. All right, guys, this is your last chance, and actually the time is going to be 10 a.m. this morning, I believe, on the free chat room. I apologize. We were so overwhelmed, it actually caused some glitches with the website. So since we will no longer be broadcasting past 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on YouTube anymore, as a thank you for joining us in that time, to give everybody that's been here for live trading, we're letting you guys use the promo code YTFREE. This is something we've never done before. Those of you who tried it yesterday knew that there was a rush of people that took down the website for a little bit, so we've had to limit it. You can use it this morning, and it's actually going to be, I guess, taken down in 2 hours, an hour from now. So anyway, go ahead and go do that now. Go to the home page, bearabletraders.com. Scroll down the page so you see the test drive. Click test drive now. Use the promo code YTFREE. And sign up it will not, you don't have to do a credit card or anything. You get 7 days in the chat room. Also, if you want to participate, if you want to get an annual elite membership and access to all the webinars we have, use the promo code FALL40, and that'll get you 40% off the elite annual membership. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Nora. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Let's dive into our list this morning, which I was kind of reviewing it as we were going through the announcements there. And again, I'm not a big fan of the list this morning. I'll tell you that right now. And I actually started looking at some of the stuff that the moderators are throwing out here. I might steal some of that stuff that they have on there, so we'll see. All right, so Oxy, guys, I think is probably the best of the oil companies. So this is one we'll definitely take a look at. We'll do levels for this. Fang, pre-market action is pretty quiet right now. Might be more of a possible. Their daily has been pretty good here, so I'm going to move it down just because of their current action right now as far as volume. But we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. This could be another one of those great stocks to trade when it comes to this overall oil type companies. Here is Sava. I like Sava this morning, guys. We got some good pre-market action here, down 6.5. Obviously on the daily, I don't think we're extended because we had a nice little drop here on this day, but it's all been green since the 15, right? So since 15, it's all been green here besides this one day. So maybe we're kind of getting a little bit of sellers coming in here at 70. Maybe buyers getting a little bit tired. Who knows? But I do like this drop we're getting here. We are down 6.4 this morning. So I do like that one on there. mRNA, guys, again, I love this drop. I like the fact that we lost this important level. This 410 here, 410, very important level. You can see how much resistance we had here. Finally broke out right here. And then that now becomes support. You can see the support we had here over and over again. We tried to find support yesterday, right on there. This morning, we're losing that. So are we going to be hanging out on the bottom side of this 410 throughout the rest of the day and coming days? So I like that there. Let's see if that's going to amount to anything. AMC is great volume. AMC is kind of trying to hold on to this level here at 38.41, right? So just kind of about holding on to this. The bigger level is this previous day close line that we're losing. We're slightly below that, down 2.3 this morning with 700,000. And you know AMC can get the volume, and we do have shares for sure, which is nice on AMC. Do we have a lot? How much do we have? We have not that much, 450,000. That's not a lot for AMC. I think that can go pretty quickly. We'll see. And then we have Apple here, which is very, very active. Look at the daily on Apple too. Very interesting. The candles have been moving nicely here. We'll see what kind of activity we'll get today. They have 1.5 million shares traded, so I expect that to be very active this morning. All right, and then let me just check if they're on our secondary list. There's anything that's worth moving up this morning. ALT dropping some more here. Nvidia is active, 403,000 shares traded, which is quite a bit. Baba is very active, guys. I think I'm going to move Baba up. 1 million shares traded so far. I think this one can probably be better than even Oxy. You know, I think it can be. Oxy could be a good possible. We know that whole entire thing is moving there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trying to stay on 4, and 6 seems to be always the number here. But we got to add Baba. I think it looks really good this morning. All right, let's look at Oxy, guys. Let's get some levels in here. High of the pre-market right now, we are sitting up at 30.98, so we slam a level there. Let's go to the left here, get some levels from the top side. Here we do have one level here, 32.56, slam one there, and also 33.48. So two great levels up here. You can see the area of resistance. You know, we couldn't get above that, then we slammed down below this previous day close line that we have here, right? That also has been an area, as you can see there, of resistance quite a bit for this stock. In between 32.56 and 30, almost 31, 30.98, there is one level here that I do see a lot of touches on. It's kind of midpoint from these two great levels here. These are two very important levels because you can see how many touches we have right on there. So that's great. But this 31.73 also has got a lot of touches on here. Got a couple of days using that as resistance right on there. A little bit of support, not much, but more resistance than anything around that 31.73. So I want to have that on there. I think that could be a good point if we do decide to push higher on this stock here. Again, the last couple of days been pretty nice here. Yesterday we had a great day on it. A lot of that action happened right out of the gates. Didn't do a whole lot later in the second half of the day. We'll see if today we're going to be a little bit strong. Right now, giving quite a bit back. from this gap up, we're heading down towards the previous day close line, looks like. Below the previous day close, which is king of all levels, as you guys know here from Jared's amazing webinar. This one is going to be down at 29.32. You can see how many touches we have on here, guys. A lot of days opening and closing right around here. And that's important, right? Because you can see a couple of days try to stay above this, and they will quickly slam down. So you're only left with the wick here. Quickly slam back down to this 29.32 level. And if you move over to the right a bit here, you can see also a lot more days opening, closing right around that 29.32. So good level to have there. But again, we'll have to get through this previous day close line first if that's going to be if we're going to be going red for the day. Here is Sava. I think Sava has a great pre-market action, guys. Seems very active to me. Low of the pre-market 63.41, 63.61. And once you add that level, I think you're pretty much set, because if you look here closely, previous day close, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, you got tons of levels already in here. You're right in smack in the middle of all this action. I don't think you need to add anything else unless we start breaking down above 70, breaking down below 57, which is, again, that's a big range, right, guys? If we get a move anywhere towards these edges here, you're looking pretty good on a stock that's trading at 65 to 70 and 65 to 57. You're doing pretty well. So we'll leave that as is right now. I don't think we need to add anything more. We have some very, very decent levels on Sava already. Here's mRNA. I love the drop this morning, losing the previous day close line here from yesterday, as well as just that whole overall level, as we spoke earlier, is a very strong level of support and resistance. So can we push away from it a little bit more, or are we going to come back to it? Low of the pre-market 391.83, also seeing a lot of touches around that area as well. Let's see if we're going to get a bit of a bounce, if this is going to continue. We've seen it bounce this morning already in the pre-market. Are we going to be able to hold that is the question. And then here we do have another one, 376. And I know how wild this stock can move, so I'm going to go even lower to 363. Make sure we're prepared. This thing is going to have one of these type days, right? This thing can move very aggressively, as you can see here. So we're set on mRNA, guys, this morning. AMC, I like where the daily is sitting at now. We're back at this area of support and resistance. Low of the pre-market this morning sitting at 38.26. We do have not a whole lot, but we do have some shares for sure. Low of the pre-market, not low of the pre-market, below the low of the pre-market, 37.68. That's the last time we've been down there in about a month or so, and then we were able to bounce a little bit. So we're getting close to that level one more time, but this time we're on a even bigger downtrend on AMC. So let's see how strong that downtrend is going to be there once we start hitting those levels. We need the volume on this one, guys. And remember, for AMC, sometimes you just have to wait a couple of minutes, even 15, 20, 30 minutes. Let it settle down. You know they're going to get amazing volume. I mean, just look at their daily here, right? As far as volume, they're pushing up against almost 100 million every single day, right? So it's an incredible amount of volume that this stock gets, even when it's not in play. Right, so you're going to get the volume. Sometimes that volume can be a little bit wild and sporadic and not coordinated, not organized. Just wait a couple of minutes, give yourself a little time, and you'd be surprised if that thing starts heading in one direction with that type of volume. You are going to make some moves, right? So we definitely have seen some really good days and has a lot of fun with AMC. Here's Apple. This morning, let's remove some of these older levels we have here. Their daily is getting so wacky, right? We went from like an amazing daily chart in Apple, right, where you can kind of see things happening, connecting lovely and a beautiful uptrend. Even here we have some coordination. Then after this, it's been getting so wacky, man. It just doesn't know what it wants to do. Up, down, and up and down. Just look at this. So right now, low of the pre-market sitting at a 142. So we'll slam a level right on there. Below that, we do have this daily wick down at 141.33. In between the price action now, you do have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days towards the top there. So you don't need to add anything more there. You do have your previous day close line. There is a level here that I do like though on Apple. It's going to be this one here, this 144.63. You got plenty of days opening, closing right around that area. So I do want to have that on deck. That's 143.63. Tons of resistance even on here, guys. Resisting, opening right around that day. So again, that 143 looks interesting if we do decide to go towards the top side. Here's Baba this morning. Again, I think their pre-market action is very active, guys. They got 1 million shares traded, which is quite a bit for BABA. So high of the pre-market 154.97. If we get above here, we do not the best daily, so we'll do our best to find levels that make sense. 160 here, we do have some touches on here. The more touches, the better. And then right up here as well, you do have another one. This is a good one, 165. Plenty of touches on that 165. A lot of days opening and closing right around that area. So that's towards the top side. Towards the bottom, you're pretty much covered, guys. You got this great level of 150, which is major support. That's your previous day close line, 150.18. And then towards the bottom, you do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Both of those trading days below the price action right now. So, you know, we can mark down the low of the pre-market right on here. 151.93. That's it. No, let's not overpack this list here. But I think BABA has a good pre-market action, guys. It's very active. This type of volume usually trades well for BABA at the market open. So I like what I'm seeing there. All right, guys, that is what we have. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. I see some really good tickers on there. We might pick some off if we have a little bit of time left. It is 9:11 at the moment. Guys, over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, please slam that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. And also, make sure to sign up for the YouTube free and join our chat room. That closes in about an hour or less. At 10 o'clock, I believe that closes. So if you want to do so, do that now before it expires. You can watch the pre-market show from the chat room now. I'd rather you guys start doing it now than all together when we turn off the stream. So slowly start trying to get in there. So then this way, when we close the stream around 9:30ish, we don't have a whole bunch of people trying to get in at the same time. That's gonna freeze up the website and it's gonna create havoc. So start making your way over there. If you're gonna continue watching us through the market open, you're gonna get access for an entire week. So it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. We had a lot of members in our onboarding class yesterday. You're gonna get access to that as well next Monday. Maybe we'll run another one today if we get a few members, new members to join us. Maybe we'll run another one today or tomorrow. But definitely start using that YouTube free code and head over to our chat room so you can continue watching us for the rest of the week here. All right, starting here, Simon, PLTR, he's looking at Apple, INTC. We got some key levels there for you as well. John likes Tesla. Baba, I like a lot this morning as well. And he's also looking at JP Morgan. Eamon, potential longs, Apple, DKNG, ARKK, INTC, and potential shorts, he's looking at Uber. Dima likes Apple, Oxy, and CCL. Jared is looking at PFE near 43, AMC near 38, and also likes AMD as well. So that's what he's looking at this morning. Tiffany likes Baba, Apple, Nvidia, and also secondary list Tesla, MU, and Oxy this morning. So pretty similar to some of the stuff that we have here. I think the only probably stock I didn't have besides Eamon's list, because Eamon's style is completely different. He has a different list there. Is INTC probably in PLTR? I don't think we looked at those. Let's take a look at INTC this morning. INTC right now, not a whole lot of volume right this second. Let's take a look at PLTR. What do we have going on here? PLTR. I thought we looked at PLTR. PLTR. I like the daily on PLTR. Good volume this morning. Again, this could be such a hit or miss, guys, on PLTR. It's just insane how extreme to both sides of the spectrum this thing can trade. Just extremely choppy and then very good. It's just insane the range that the stock can do. And they're not correlated with the pre-market activity at all. So you'll have an amazing pre-market activity, and the market will be the open will be completely trash, or you have a horrible pre-market activity, and the market open is amazing. So it's just no correlation whatsoever when it comes to PLTR. So interesting how that one works. The more you trade, guys, the more you start realizing how some of these stocks move, right? You kind of start learning not their criteria, kind of like the way they behave per se, right? For example, like Peter knows AMD very well, and he knows when AMD is going to be good or bad just based on how much time he spent watching AMD every single day. IPOs for today, only one AMPL, no SPACs for today or tomorrow, so nothing available as far as that goes. All right, guys, 9:15. Andrew and Brian will be coming on shortly. They'll be joining us through the website, and we'll be shutting down our YouTube stream around 9:20. So just a reminder again, if you have not done so already, I'll put it up here on the screen for our YouTube friends. Let's get it on here. I want you guys to take advantage of this, completely free, right? Do not need to put any credit card information or anything like that. You can just join right over here using the code YouTube free. So join using that. It expires. The time there is wrong. It says 11:59 p.m., but it's actually 10 a.m. this morning, right? So join there. You could get access to the chat room, and you'll be able to have access this entire week. So if you're on YouTube, do that now so you can continue with us in the trading room. Here's Brian's list coming in with AMD, Apple, PLTR, NEO, and DBGI. You know, we forgot to look at the low floats. Let's take a look at the low floats here because we have some good ones. We have let's delete this here. Right, DBGI, very active, guys. 9 million shares traded right now. And then we also have ALF here, but ALF now not looking so good. It didn't hold here. We do have shares for sure, but I'm usually not interested in shorting these type of stocks. I want to see the squeeze get moving towards the top here, but now it's not looking as interesting. So we'll remove this one for now. DBGI, it seems the one that has it going on at the moment, pulling back a little bit here. Amazing volume as of now. So that is looking very good there on DBGI. All right, good. Secondary list, we got FANG, we have MU. They have earnings after hours today. We'll see if that does anything for the market open. For sure. Tomorrow, that's going to be on our list one way or the other, hopefully. NVIDIA, very active, 443. Again, that's great volume for NVIDIA. CCL, not as much volume, but a beautiful daily on there. So we'll be looking out to see if this thing wants to continue trading the way it has been. It's been pretty good here on the daily. A lot of these moves, though, if you notice, have been pretty early on, right? So like the first 30 minutes, you get the one pop and then it just goes sideways, kind of like, okay, what are we doing next here, right? So it hasn't been like trending the entire day or pulling back and then pushing back up to give you, you know, some shorting opportunities or long opportunities. It hasn't been really doing that. I'll show you what I mean. Here it is, CCL, right? Well, CCL was not one of them, but here it is. The pops happens on here. Actually, this one did pull back, but then it just kind of goes flat on the previous day close line. There was another one too that kind of did the same thing yesterday, just kind of pushed up, had a good open. Which one was that one? Was it was not LSIC, because LSIC was horrible yesterday for us. This was the one I traded, got stopped out twice. In hindsight, it looks good now, right? It looks very good. But man, the price action to get this move here was just brutal. And then this drop here below the VWAP stopped a lot of us out. And then right when we get stopped out, look what it does. Just takes off here and does the move we're waiting for. It's just a mess. Price action was very funky as well on LSID. It was Oxy, right? Oxy was the one that also pushed up. Yeah, here's another one that pushed up and just kind of went sideways. You did get a little breakout here, but again, you got to kind of survive this thing here or just be patient. You know, it's just not the greatest move there. All right, excellent, guys. I think we are all set. Recap of our main list, which again, is not bad, but it's not great. We have Oxy, which is a little messy right now. We have Sava, which actually looks pretty decent, the pre-market action. I'm not a big fan of this one, but for some reason, I like this pre-market action we're seeing on it today, down 5.1. mRNA, I like the drop here. Again, not an easy stock to trade, guys, so be very careful. Also, be mindful of the number of shares you take here, guys. We always want to make our money on the move, not on the number of shares we take. Very important. So, you know, you don't want to be taking a full size on this and be down $2 just like that, because it can happen. Also, you got to put your stop loss accordingly, right? You can't go in here at 395.95 and say your stop at a 395.49. You know, you'll probably be stopped out with the spread. So be cautious of that. You might need a little wider stop and you might need to take less shares, right? So be mindful. And if that's not your style of trading, then don't trade the stock. You know, find something else that you like to trade based on your criteria for your trade book, right? So very important. AMC popping up a little bit here, holding on to that support at 38.26. That's good. Apple, guys, I like Apple a lot. I think it's going to be a good one today. The volume already almost 2 million on this thing. So I think this is going to be one to watch. Definitely top of my list this morning. And Baba also looking very good. Great volume. Mike, JP Morgan, NVIDIA, and AMD for Mike's list this morning. Let's take a look at AMD. I know the semis are active. AMD could be a good, maybe possible to keep on there as well. All right, excellent. Norm, anything on your end that we have not covered yet?
No, but did you go over, sorry, I had to hop off and take care of something. Did you go over why the list is assembled the way it is? Somebody asked earlier, and I said we would cover it. Yeah. So just quickly, that top list is primarily what we're watching. Those are the foremost on our minds, what we're looking at. The next group is secondary things that, you know, that they're close, but maybe not showing all the signs that they might be good. And generally, that third list is low floats and riskier stuff. So
yeah, so this is very risky stocks. It not anything you want to be messing around with. So if you're just starting out, if you're brand new, these are the stocks that, again, they look great, guys. Up 61%, 9.9 million shares traded. But if you make a mistake on this,
they move like crazy.
you know, you're gonna pay for it very, very dearly. So avoid these if you're just starting out, or not even starting out. Take Andrew's example for as an example, right? He doesn't trade well these stocks. You know, if Andrew removes low flows from his trade book, which actually doesn't have a trade book for low flows, I don't think he does. He doesn't trade these well. He'll tell you these. I'm not good at these lower price stocks, these low flow stocks. He's not great on these over here. He crushes it every single day. So it could be that you're just not good at it, and that's okay. So just stay away from these. You know. Once in a while, we do see some great moves, and we have the low flow king with us, Norm. So you've seen what he could do with that type of stuff. But again, just be very, very careful with those tickers. All right, Brian, Andrew, we're ready for you guys whenever you want. We won't hop off until you guys come on, so then we don't have this awkward dead time. I don't like that. So we'll stay here chatting away until you guys hop on, and we will shoot on over. Okay, I see Brian is coming on there. There he is. All right, so Brian is on, guys. Guys, over on YouTube, I'm going to switch over to our
just a reminder, you've got just a reminder, it's till 10 a.m. To use that YT free. Yes, it should. Every once in a while, it gets busy and it might say code's not working, but it'll work. Just keep going. And yeah, YT free. Go to the bearbulletraders.com, scroll down, you'll see that test drive. It's going to end at 10 a.m. this morning Eastern time. So come join us for a week.
Yep, it'll be a whole lot of fun. All right, guys, take care. We're going to switch over to the chat room now. Brian and Andrew are on. I'll see you guys in the chat.
Not
Alrighty.
super crazy about everything, but you see that a lot, and then something pops up. I am going to add Tesla to my watch list because it's kind of looking interesting. The SPY does seem to be, and the IWM does seem to be buying up a little bit here.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. We've got interest rates up. Interest rates up. The dollar is strong right now.
ALF is gapping up, and I'm so bad at trading them.
I didn't even look at ALF because Norman Carlos said it wasn't trading very. Oh gosh, yeah, it's well off its highs. I mean, it's maybe worth keeping an eye on, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of strength there, and there's no order flow. There's no time and sale, and there's no sales going through unless my screen's frozen.
So I don't have anything in my watch list that I like, really, to be honest with you. No way. It was a piece of garbage, huh?
Yeah.
Man, it's been 2 weeks that I'm not really good at trading. This is the end of Andrew Aziz, or what? I don't really have anything in my watch that I like. Probably want to watch AMC. AMC looks like a good breakout toward the lows. YouTube folks, thank you so much.
Yeah.
For joining us. nothing crazy, but
I like Tesla. Tesla is continuing to. It looks like the buyers are stepping in there. AMD is also, and PLTR is. They're all getting bought in the pre-market anyway. Seems like there's some buying pressure to the upside. I'd watch for a little bit of a pullback at the open. This is the kind of morning where you get a gap down, where you get a bunch of selling right off, and then maybe we'll get stuff. Maybe we'll get some moves to the upside. So back in a second. Yeah, I know Emory reports at the end of the close here. I think there was one other one that was. I think doesn't Best Buy report with MU?
so Qs are down more than anything else here because of obviously because of interest rate. So potentially that sector can be active. So usual suspect for me, as you guys know, is AMC and BABA. AMC is having some volume near the low of near the good important level. ALF, lower price, lower float stocks like ALF, Zebo, they're all tricky. Let's see how much I can lose on them today. In a few weeks, I'm just losing money on them, but make money on TNA. But the issue is I ran out of TNA, so I don't have any more TNA to make it up for me.
Okay.
AMC. Jay Powell speaking on Capitol Hill in 30 minutes. Jeremy Powell.
Yeah. Speaking to Congress, I think.
See what Apple is doing. There's really nothing. AMD is
Apple's
breaking out. I'm put AMD on my
Tesla's
watch.
still liking the look of Tesla, but it's it could do what it did yesterday, which is kind of chop around for a while and come up and then decide on a direction.
Yeah, I don't really have anything for potential opening range breakout, which is fine. It means that I can just sit. I mean, if yesterday I was waiting for that reversal on TQQ and Apple, I would have been at like a $6,000 day. So I don't need to jump on anything that I don't really need. So that's also, the patience is very important. The raccoon and coyote, as we discussed.
Yeah, I don't think just because Powell's speaking is a reason to stay out. I think they've